Hi guys, my name is Jim Daly. I'm the APM lecturer for Griffith College, and the purpose of this recording is just an insight into what the Advanced Performance Management paper is about. In doing that, and just to pick up on the little introduction, I'm just going to share a screen here. So the paper itself, guys, comprises two parts. Section A of the exam, as you can see, will comprise a 50-mark case study. And section B of the exam paper, there are two 25-mark questions. So it's a compulsory paper. There's no choice. There is no option. However, what we are told is that for section B, one of the questions will come mainly from syllabus section E. So we know that from one part of the syllabus exclusively, there will be a 25-mark question. So that begs the question then as to what's in the syllabus, or what is the syllabus about. So in looking at the syllabus, guys, and the way I work this is, in looking at, we say, you can see I have the APM, and I break it down into three different sections, So the sections, let's change color there for 1 second. So the sections, that I look at are section 1, as you see there, Introduction to Strategic Management Accounting, Environmental Influences, Approaches to Budgets, Business Structure and Performance Management, Impact of Information Technology, and Performance Reports of Management, and HR aspects of performance management. So that's section 1 of the syllabus, and I call it section 1 simply because it's mainly theoretical. There are things there that we might need to be aware of, but we can get to that, we'll say, in a second bit. So quick little introduction, and something important is, if you have done the SPL or are in the process of doing the SPL paper, that will stand to you absolutely no end, with regards to the APM. There's a lot of crossover, and you'll see that from syllabus as we go through it. So just in taking those 7 areas as outlined by the Kaplan, we'll say, content sheet for this particular course, if you go down, you will find, when looking at syllabus, section 1, as we said, Introduction to Strategic Management Accounting, covers areas such as planning and control, objectives, critical success factors, and key performance indicators. So CSFs, absolutely vital to the survival of any organization. KPIs, how do we measure those CSFs? So we need to be all over that for this paper. Planning and control, what are planning and control? Planning and control at different levels, long and short-term conflicts, and the rational model of strategic planning. So we look at different methods or models that can be used for that. It also covers the changing role of the management accountant, definitions, changes in role, can the management accountants benefit, and you see integrated reporting there as well. And inside here you meet theorists such as Burns and Scapins, who look at the role of the accountant as being more of a hybrid now than the traditional model. Benchmarking is also covered here. Introduction to benchmarking, the different types, competitor, internal process, and the process involved, i.e. the 7 steps for the implementation of benchmarking procedure, and evaluation using the method. We then look under the first, section as to some of the models that assist in the performance management process. SWOT analysis, BCG, that's the Boston Consulting Group, and Purporters Genetic Strategies. So in looking at, section 1, of our course or our manual, that's that particular one, i.e. Introduction to Strategic Management Accounting. Second area, in section 1 that I look at is what we call environmental influences. And I said this is just a quick tour, guys, as to what APM is about. And in looking at the environmental influences, for the external analysis, we need Porter's 5 forces, a little bit of pest analysis or PESTEL, political factors, i.e. the P in pest, E being economic, S being social, and T being technological. Impact of stakeholders, what are stakeholders? Stakeholder mapping, such as we'll say Mendelow's matrix, stakeholder conflict, influence on performance management. It then looks at environmental, social and government factors that are things that could influence environmental. That's what we broadly mean, external analysis. The definitions, ethical and sustainability challenges, the environmental, social and governance and performance management, and the role of the accountant in all of this. Pure theory, nothing else but a theory involved there. And then the risk and uncertainty, things we would have met at the performance management. If we haven't met them or we forget them, no difficulty, we'll pick that up when we get to it. So by risk and uncertainty, what is it? We need to be able to use expected values, maxi-max, maxi-min, mini-max, regret, and the risk appetite of stakeholders. Maxi-max means we are risk takers. Maxi-min means we are risk averse. Expected values mean we are risk neutral, and mini-max regret is opportunity loss. And we appraise looking at it from the risk appetite of the stakeholders involved. That covers, as we said, section 2, okay? And section 2, as mentioned, is environmental influences. Section 3, approaches to budgets, would be familiar with most of you, okay? And for the budgets, okay, and 3, approaches to budgeting, i.e. the purposes of budgets, 3 C's, 2 E's, 2 M's, to compel, to coordinate, to communicate, to evaluate, to establish, motivate managers, motivate employees. Participating in budget process, participative or non-participative, top-down, bottom-up, in other words. Recap of the variances that we should have from the earlier paper, but we won't have to calculate variances, guys, for this exam, maybe outside of the more advanced ones. Different methods of budgeting: fixed and flexible, incremental, zero-based, rolling, and activity-based budgeting. Okay, and that is, we say, the third section. Section 4, okay, or chapter 4 of section 1, business structure and performance management, pure theory, organizational forms, as in functional, divisional, networked, or virtual type forms, i.e. the more complex ones, maybe such as joint ventures. Performance management, problems in complex business structures. What might the problems be? Needs of the services. And then when it comes to, we'll say, looking at things like business integration, linking, we'll say, operational strategy, i.e. short-term to long-term, we could use models such as Porter's value chain, okay, or the McKinsey 7S model. BPR, business process re-engineering, we need to know the definition, the requirements, and how to evaluate. Okay, and that brings us then to 5, impact of technology. Okay, and by technology, okay, IT developments in particular, you see networks, cloud, technology, data warehouses, ERPS, knowledge management systems, customer relationship management systems, RFID, radio frequency identification, process automation, Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence. And important, okay, concept of big data. Okay, big data, and big data will be practically on every exam paper in some shape or form from a theory point of view. What is it? What are the analytics that can be used? Characteristics, the big data and performance management, how it is used, big data risk, and the role of the management accountant. So you're looking at things like the 5 V's inside their: volume, velocity, veracity, and so on. Okay, so again, impact of technology, pure theory. When we go to the next one, 6, reports for management, reports for performance management, presentation techniques, problems dealing with quantitative data, and problems dealing with qualitative data, pure theory. And the purpose of reports are important. And if you remember the mnemonic PALE, so when you're looking at the report, what is its purpose? What is the audience? Okay, what information do you need to show? And the layout of the report. We get 4 marks for that. Okay, professional marks for our section A 50-mark question. That brings us then, guys, to the last bit. We'll say what I would call the first section, and that brings into play HR, and in particular, introduction to human resource management, Hopwood's management styles. There are 3: profit conscious, budget constrained, and non-accounting. Okay, so depending on the organization, which style might be used. It then looks at reward schemes, such as their purpose, methods of rewarding, linking rewards to employees' performance measurement, and using models such as those put forward by the theorists Berry, Broadbent, and Otley. Okay, all to be looked at thereafter. So what I'm saying to you there is, okay, when we look at APM as a subject, and what I call section 1, okay, i.e. the first 7 chapters of textbook, that's essentially what's being covered. Section 2, then from that, okay, goes into, and I would call that, if we say, kind of 8 to 11 as per textbook, into the kind of quantitative techniques. So, for instance, models that need to be used are looked at when it comes to assessing performance, we'll say, from a financial point of view. And in doing that, okay, you see The objectives of profit-seeking organizations, usually maximization of shareholder wealth. Short and long-term financial performance, i.e. the difference between both and the influences that either might have. And then the measures of performance using profitability, liquidity, or measuring risk. And it's not that we have to learn off ratios or anything like that. It's just to be aware of, okay, different measures of profitability and liquidity, such as the asset test ratio, the quick ratio. Profitability might be profit margins. It could be ROI. It could be anything such as that. The 9 develops it further. Okay, and divisional performance appraisal, and it brings into play transfer pricing as well. And remember, a transfer price is nothing but an external selling price, an internal selling price, nothing more, nothing else. So what are the problems associated with the divisional structures? Structuring divisions as responsibility centers. What level of responsibility do you give the center? Be it cost, be it revenue, be it a profit center or an investment center. And measures that can be used: return on investment, residual income, problems of using either of those or the comparison between. And then the big one inside here, okay, would be EVA, economic value added, examined practically in every exam paper. What is EVA? Calculating EVA and the EVA calculation. Some of you might be familiar with it. If not, okay, it is something that is important. We need to be looked at. Again, value-based management tends to be asked quite often. What is it? Measures used in VBM, implementing it, and the evaluation of EBM. Transfer pricing is where we have divisions that are trading with each other, one buying, one selling. What are the general rules, alternative transfer pricing methods, and international transfer pricing? So the rules basically for transfer pricing, okay, might be, depending on whose viewpoint you're looking at it. If you're looking at it as a selling division, you want as much as you can possibly get. Buying division, you want to pay as little as you can possibly get away with it. But from group point of view, the question is, what might be the best internal selling price? What might be attractive to both? So a little bit of working, a little bit of calculation inside there. Then we go look at, we say, the not-for-profit organizations. Introduction to NFPs, problems associated with performance management in the NFP organizations, assessing the value for money using the 3 E's, that is economy, efficiency, and effectiveness, the use of league tables and targets in the public sector, i.e. league tables and benchmarking, and targets that might be set as well. So in looking at that, it's nothing much inside there, and mainly theoretical as well from that particular paper, for that particular area. 11. Non-financial performance indicators, limitations of financial performance. Solution is to use a mixture of both non-financial and financial, and NFPIs and business performance. The balanced scorecard, it will also be, we need to look at and need to be in tune with. What is it? Implementation and evaluation. 4 perspectives of the scorecard. We need to know the 4, and we need to be able to list critical success factors and KPIs under each of those. We could also use the building block model. Okay, building block model, what is it? It has 6 dimensions. It has standards and it has rewards. We tend to use the scorecard, guys, when we are evaluating. We say a profit-seeking organization that tends to be more manufacturing-based. We tend to use the building block model when it's profit-seeking and tends to be more service-orientated, such as we say a hotel or a professional accountancy officer, so on and so forth. Performance pyramid also comes into play, and that again links, we'll say, the bottom of the pyramid to the top of the pyramid by looking at, we'll say, criteria that might be used, we'll say, in evaluating the performance of a business. So they're the models, and they're important, the 3 of those: scorecard, building block, and performance pyramid, as given to us by Lynch and Cross. So that takes in, guys, from the top 8 to 11, okay, which is section 2 of the what I would call the APM paper. And in so doing, okay, you see it kicking in there. That is section 2, down as far as there. Last bit of it then as well brings into play, we say, section 3, corporate failure, role of the quality in performance measurement, environmental management accounting. And the employee liability and technology skills, excuse me, are, okay, that particular section. That's on every paper across the board. that's to make sure that you know what how to do an online exam, basically. So there'll be separate videos for that as we go through it. But just taking those from chapter 12, okay, down along, and then looking at 12 or what might be involved with it, to 14. Nice areas. We'll see the more modern developments, okay, in performance management over the years. It brings into play, okay, things such as the role of quality, okay. By quality, what is quality? We need to know the quality related costs, i.e. prevention, appraisal, external failure costs and internal failure costs. We need to be able to look at Six Sigma and what is it, okay, concept put forward by Motorola, and Kaizen costing and target costing. What is Kaizen? Small incremental reductions over the long term. Target costing, we set the target at the start. So Kaizen tends to be aimed over the longer term, target over the shorter term. TQM, what is meant by TQM? Total quality management. JIT, what is it? Most people would say stockless production, but it's a combination of things really. Lean production, what is lean? How do we get rid of the non-value added activities, the waste basically? Characteristics, a lean management information system, maybe such as an ERPS, enterprise resource planning systems, and the 5 S's concept from that. And the 5 S's are easily enough as well done from that. So again, guys, just in looking at that one, it brings us then to the last bit of it. Okay, EMA. What is environmental management accounting and what are the techniques? And there are 4 techniques we need to be aware of: input/output, flow cost accounting, activity-based costing, and life cycle costing are the 4 methods that can be techniques that can be used when it comes to measuring environmental management accounting. So my point to you guys on this, okay, is that the APM paper, for the 100 marks that are available, 15 to 18 marks, okay, will be for calculation. The rest of it will be theoretical. However, we need to understand, we'll say, the workings. We need to be able to understand appendices that will be given to us as part of the question, and be able to explain what's involved. This is about strategy. It's about long-term thinking, long-term performance of the company or organization. Once we get in behind that, okay, as I keep saying to people, this is a very doable and gettable paper. Don't mind the worldwide averages, and it's only 32%, I think, last sitting. But it is a very doable paper. It's something that you just can't learn off and give back. You need to be able to apply yourself to the question. And the focus to this, guys, is, okay, reading the question properly and giving the structured answer. And what you'll find is that the new layout for the exam questions, the 50-mark questions in particular, you might have 6 or 7 parts to it, but you'll get the headings as per the case study for each part of the question. If I was doing it as a student, I would be considering the APM very seriously as a topic or subject. So again, guys, as I said to you, my name is Jim Daly. I'm at Griffith College. I am the lecturer on this paper for a long time now at this stage. If you have any queries, okay, or you want to find out anything about the paper, feel free to contact me at jim.daly@griffith.ie. Thank you.